You know that feeling, right? That email from HR, the chat with your boss, you got the raise. You totally earned it, and that extra cash is about to hit your bank account. It feels incredible, like you finally officially leveled up.
Okay, so let's put a number on it. We're talking about a nice solid bump, say an extra $500 a month. You see that new number on your paycheck and wow, it feels real. That's tangible progress. And your mind just starts racing with all the possibilities, doesn't it?
But here's the thing. If you're like most of us, you fast forward a few months, you look at your bank account, and you just kind of wonder, wait, where did it all go? You're definitely earning more, but you don't necessarily feel any richer. So what's the deal?
Well, that money doesn't just poof, vanish into thin air. It's not like you went out and made one giant, irresponsible purchase. No, it's actually way sneakier than that. It gets absorbed quietly, almost invisibly, into a bunch of small, totally harmless-seeming upgrades.
It usually starts with something that makes perfect sense. Maybe you move to a place with a little more space, or in a neighborhood that's just a bit nicer. It's a completely reasonable upgrade, right? What's an extra couple $100s a month?
And what's really fascinating is how one good decision kind of justifies the next one. That old car is starting to feel a bit dated. And with your new income, you can easily swing the monthly payment on a newer, more reliable model. Again, another totally reasonable choice.
Then the really small, almost invisible costs start to creep in. You start ordering food delivery a couple more times a week because, you're busy. You add that one extra streaming subscription everyone's talking about. You grab that fancy coffee on the way to work more often. Each one is tiny, but boy, do they add up fast.
And maybe the most subtle change of all happens right in your own head. You're at the grocery store and you just stop comparing prices. You grab the name brand stuff. You stop sweating the small everyday costs because, hey, you can afford it now.
And then just like that, the entire $500 is accounted for. It's been completely woven into your new, slightly more expensive life. But here's the real kicker. Despite that higher income, your net savings, your actual financial progress, is still at zero. You're running faster, but you're on the exact same treadmill.
So how does this happen so predictably to so many of us? Well, this isn't about being bad with money or not having enough discipline. It's all about a really powerful psychological shift that happens to almost everyone.
This is the absolute core of it. Your brain literally hits a reset button.
That higher income doesn't feel like extra money for very long. It very quickly becomes your new baseline, your new normal, and all of your expectations just adjust right along with it.
And there's a name for this whole phenomenon. It's called lifestyle creep. It's that sneaky little process where the luxuries of yesterday somehow become the absolute necessities of today. It's like a one-way street where your expenses rise to perfectly match your rising income.
And this just illustrates the change perfectly. Before the raise, getting takeout was a special occasion. Now, after a long day, it feels like a basic need. A simple, functional car used to be totally fine. Now it feels like you deserve something better. Your entire idea of what's essential has been upgraded.
So what's the real cost of all this new comfort? Well, the problem is that these little upgrades aren't one-time things. They become new, permanent fixtures in your monthly budget. And when you look at the long-term math, it is startling.
When you get that $500 raise, you are standing at a crossroads. There are two very, very different paths that money can go down over the next couple of decades.
So look at this. It's all right here. Path 1 is lifestyle creep. You spend the extra $500, and 20 years from now, you have exactly $0 extra to show for it. Path 2 is invested freedom. You invest that same $500. In 20 years, thanks to the power of compounding, it could grow to over $250,000. I mean, just look at that visually. The difference isn't small, it is monumental. On one side, you have a little more comfort today. On the other, you have genuine, life-changing financial freedom tomorrow. That $500 isn't just $500. It's the seed for a future that you might be trading away for a slightly nicer car.
And this brings us to the ultimate trap of lifestyle creep. It feels like progress because your stuff is nicer and your income is higher, but you are essentially stuck in a much more expensive version of the exact same financial place you were in before.
So let's just lay out the consequences here. Your savings rate, the single most important number for building wealth, it stays completely flat no matter how many raises you get. Your lifestyle just rises in perfect lockstep with your income. You become trapped by your own expensive habits, which makes it harder and harder to ever get ahead. And true financial freedom, well, it just stays a distant dream.
So the next time you get a raise, it's worth stopping to ask yourself this one question before that money just disappears.
Because every dollar has a choice. It can buy you a little more comfort today, or it can buy you a lot more freedom tomorrow. The choice is yours.